All right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, Jason, for the rundown. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are very excited to be partnering with Sedgwick, and we look forward to a long, successful partnership going forward. My name is Elena Stein, and I am a compliance attorney with Claim Toolkit. We're going to go ahead and jump into what we will be covering today. Essentially, we're going to cover all the bases so you get the most out of your application. How you access the application, moving between auto, homeowners, commercial, navigating the application, running a search, running a report, what's new. We'll go into the compliance training portal. As Jason has kindly mentioned, we will not be taking questions during the training due to time constraints, so please drop your questions into the Q&A chat. Jason will either provide you an answer now, or we will follow up with that Q&A doc once all trainings are complete. Also, we are asking that you please drop your email into the Q&A chat as well. Sedgwick would like to keep a record of attendance for everyone here, so we just want to make sure if you're taking the time out of your day that your attendance is being recorded. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to jump to your application. You access your application via a company-specific URL that has been provided to you, which all of you received with your ID and password on June 1st. Essentially, you use an internet browser to get here. And when you do enter in that URL, you are taken to what you see now, which is the login verification screen. You have your username field and your password field. You have a checkbox directly below these two fields. If you click that, it simply saves your ID and password for future use so that you don't have to keep re-entering it every time. Down below, we have a few helpful links for you. The first is forgot username or password. If I click this link, what it's going to do, it's going to send my password directly to my email inbox. We're going to go ahead. It shouldn't have logged me in right there. We're going to jump back out. To get the password to your email inbox, you will want to enter your username, of course. Next up is the register link. If I click on register, if I'm not an existing user, this is where I would go for answers on how to become a user. We have provided company-specific instructions for you here. We'll go ahead, exit out of there. Last up is the contact us link. If I click here, it essentially takes me to a submission form, and where this goes is directly to our help desk. We've also provided you our phone number and our email address. So we'll go ahead, jump back to login verification screen, and now I'm going to log into my application. I'll hit the submit button, and where we land now is the auto compliance homepage, which is where you are automatically defaulted to land upon logging in. I know I'm in auto because it's great looking little car icon in the top left-hand corner of my screen. Directly to the right is the Claim Toolkit logo. You can click this logo from anywhere within the application to come back to the auto home screen, or if you're in homeowners or commercial, it'll take you back to the homeowners or commercial home screen. To the right is the My Account link. You would click here to go in and modify your user details. If you wanted to change your password, you simply click here to change password. I'm of course not going to click on that now because I don't want to give anyone's password up, but this is where you would need to go to update or modify any existing details. If I go and hit that Claim Toolkit logo, top left-hand corner, jump me back to my auto home screen, and I'm going to go ahead and all the way over to the right-hand side of the screen, we have these three dashes, which we call the hamburger because it looks like two buns and a patty. If I click the hamburger, what's going to appear for me is a Toolkit drop-down menu. And essentially, your access level dictates what is available within this drop-down menu. But this is where you're going to go to navigate between the different compliance modules. So you have auto, which we're currently in. If I wanted to jump to commercial, I would simply click on compliance for commercial. And as you probably noticed, the icon in the top left-hand corner changed to signify commercial. If I go back to the hamburger, I can jump into homeowners. Again, notice in the top right-hand or left-hand corner, your logo has changed once more to signify homeowners. Now we go back to that hamburger, and I'm going to move on down, and I'm going to jump into the compliance training portal. We'll click here. And essentially, everything we're going to talk about today is going to be encapsulated here in this training portal. If you want to take a full online training, it's I believe about 30-35 minutes. You can click the image here to do so. It's just a recorded live training, much like you're seeing today. Or what you can do, you can go to the top of your screen, and you can hover over each of the titles in your drop-down menu. If I want information on logging in, I can come here and I have a number of charts available to me in my drop-down. If I need information on navigating the application, I can go ahead and click on a chart. It takes me right to that page, and I simply just need to scroll to recent information being provided for me here. Now, if I'm looking for something and I don't know where in my subject matter-based drop-down menu it may be located, I can use a search function. So I can start typing in a keyword, and what's going to happen is it's going to pull these little blue boxes for me right here that have relevant information. I simply click the one I'm looking for, and it'll take me right to that chart. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to hit that hamburger in the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to jump back into compliance. In the center of your auto homepage, you have a number of very fun, helpful features. One thing to note is that the homepage for auto, commercial, and homeowners are all identical and function exactly the same. If you want all state COVID-19 information, you would click here. It would take you an all state selection page. You would simply choose the state you're looking for, and it'll jump you into that specific state's COVID-19 information page. And what you're probably learning, and you're going to learn more as we move through this, anytime you're seeing bolded or underlined text, just know that it's clickable, meaning you can dig deeper for more information. If I want to jump back to the auto homepage, I'm going to click that Claim Toolkit logo. Takes me right back to auto. In the center of my auto homepage, I have a 411 search, I have a scene photo search, a weather search, and I have two distinct compliance report searches, one compliance reports and one DOI directives. We'll run a report in just a few minutes, but I'm going to go ahead now and move on down to the bottom of my screen. At the bottom, what we have is our visual icon dashboard. Essentially, each of these icons, when I click on it, houses numerous information and resources for me inside and outside of Claim Toolkit. So if we go ahead and jump into the library, for example, I have a navigational bar at the top of my page, so jumping to any portion of this chart, so I can move quickly. And essentially what we have here is a number of reference materials. So I can go ahead and click on any one of these links. Again, I have that bolded underlined text. These will take me outside of Claim Toolkit. And just of note, these types of links for information, when the site does require an account or payment in some sort, Claim Toolkit does not provide that for you. You simply have to create an account, make payment, etc., whatever is needed. But now that we've moved into we've dug a little deeper into the application, you're going to notice right here in the top left-hand corner is what we call a breadcrumb. As we move deeper through the information and the state-specific information, you'll be shown more breadcrumbs to help you navigate directly back to where you've come from. So I can hit Auto Home or the Claim Toolkit logo. They function identically, but essentially it's going to take me back to that Auto Home page. So we're going to go ahead now and we are going to dive into state-specific information. So I'm going to come to the top of my application and I'm going to use the state reference drop-down menu. I'll click the down arrow. I'll pick my state, let's say California. And now we're on the state homepage. All 50 states plus DC are set up identically and function exactly the same way. At the top, we have our subject matter-based drop-down menu, which you're probably familiar with now because of the compliance training portal. It functions exactly the same. We have topics under general law, including automated vehicle law, peer-to-peer, UM/UIM, wrongful death, Good SAM. We have court procedure, including discovery, jury verdict, minor settlements. Damages, including interest, subrogation rights, workplace damages. We have a new forms drop-down. This will take you outside of Claim Toolkit to relevant and necessary forms for P&C insurers. Immunity. We have charitable, governmental, parental, and spousal. Legal authority. This is where we're going to link you, and this is state specific, by the way. This is where we link you outside of Claim Toolkit to the state authority. So the Muni Code for California, the statute index for California, the vehicle code, administrative code, you name it. Next up is liability. We provide information on age of reason, guest statute, parental liability. Our contact dropdown has a number of different state sites available here. It also takes you to a very popular chart, which is the insurance company contact information. At the top, we have our navigational toolbar. And essentially what this is just a massive listing of insurance companies in the US, their main claim phone numbers, and a link to online internet loss reporting if they provide it. So if we go ahead and look at column 2, we're going to give you their main claim phone numbers and any helpful instructions we can provide to help get you past that automated system as quickly as possible. We'll go ahead now and we'll take a look at the new breadcrumb we have available to us. Now that I've dug a little bit deeper into the states, we have a state-specific breadcrumb. So now I can either jump back to the California homepage or all the way back to the auto homepage. I'll go ahead now, I'll hit California, jump on back to auto, and we'll continue to move through the drop-down menu. Next up is BI handling. Essentially what BI handling and PD handling consist of are charts necessary for you when handling those specific types of claims. We essentially had a client come to us and say, hey, can you give us a cheat sheet? We need to know what we need to know when we need to know it. Next up are our auto liability charts. That consists of right-of-way duties and defensive driving duties. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into one of these charts. Let's say passing. And I'm just going to highlight for you here the setup of these charts. On the left-hand side, this is as you see here, it's a 2-column format. On the left-hand side, we are going to give you the applicable statute, admin, but directly to the right, we're going to line it up directly with the exact page in the driver's manual that speaks specifically to that law or requirement. So let's say you have a claim and someone is saying, well, but how am I going to know all the statutes or admin code? You can say that's fine. But in your driver's manual, which you are required to know to get your license, this is exactly where it tells you you have to abide by this specific rule or regulation. And of course, you're seeing again lots of that bolded underlined text. This is just a reminder that you can always click this text to be taken outside of the application directly to the source that's being referenced. We'll go ahead now. We'll hit that California breadcrumb, jump on back. Last up is our driver's manual. So we're going to go ahead. Again, this dropdown is state specific, and we link you to that specific state's bike manuals, CDL manuals, license types, school bus, teen drivers, auto Spanish, you name it. Now, before I move down into the meat of the state homepage, we're going to take a look at one of our very popular charts, which is communication time limits. Because I'm going to highlight for you the setup of the vast majority of our charts within compliance. Now you saw an auto liability that was a 2-column setup. This, however, is a 3-column setup. And why it's important to know why this works is because we want to make sure you're getting the most out of this application and you're doing so quickly and efficiently. So why is this important? In the first column, you have exactly what you need to know in as few words as possible. In the second column, we're going to give you a more robust summary of that statute, admin, or case law. We're also going to cite you directly to the source. If there's a subsection available, we're going to provide that for you as well. And then in column 3, we're going to link you directly to the authority. So I can simply click here, and it'll go ahead and open for me the California regulation. Go ahead and close that on out. I'll scroll back up. Now I'm going to jump back to that state homepage once again. And now our drop-down menu at the top is our first method of finding information within the state charts. But I also have the option again here of using a keyword. So if I'm looking for, say, days to communicate, we can go ahead. Again, we have the blue boxes that are going to appear for you here. It's going to pull relevant charts, and I can simply click on that blue box to take me to that information. For new users, the search function is a fantastic feature, and it gets you exactly where you need to go as quickly as possible. So we'll go ahead now and we'll move into the center of the state homepage. First up are negligence types. If I click on the first link to the left, negligence type, it's just going to take me to an overview of the different liability types. But If I look over to the right, it's going to tell me the exact negligence type that is applicable in the state I am currently viewing. So just looking at this link, I know that pure comparative negligence is applicable in California. I can click the link as well, and to take me to more information, provide me the authority for that item. So we'll go ahead now. We will hit that state breadcrumb, jump on back. First up in the center of our state homepage chart is COVID-19 information. If I hit view, it's going to once again take me to that all state COVID-19 information page. I can jump on back to state homepage. And now what we're going to do next up is we are going to run a report. We're going to hit view, take me to the report page. I have two options, compliance reports or DOI directive reports. Compliance reports is going to pull charts and information from the charts available in your subject matter based drop-down menu at the top of your screen. You have these little blue icons with the white question marks. These are what we call hover help. Simply hover your mouse over the hover help and it's going to give you more information. But I'll go ahead here and I will choose my line of business. I'll choose my report category, which you see these line up with the titles in the drop-down menu. Next, I'll choose a chart which falls within the titles in the drop-down menu. Let's say log truck. I'll choose a category. This is optional. I can either hone into a specific category within that chart, or I can leave it selected to all to pull everything on the chart. Lastly, I'm going to choose a state. I can do all states, I can do one state, or I can do a handful of states. I can also start typing in state names and it'll pull them up for me if I'd like. But I'll just go ahead and hit search. A new tab is going to populate. And I have my report. Now in the top left-hand corner, we have a date and timestamp. This is important to note because myself and the others at Claim Toolkit update the database at least 20 times a day. So if you are going to save these reports or print them out, we want to make sure you're not operating on outdated information. So I'm going to highly recommend that you go in and rerun these reports at least on a weekly basis. But if we just go ahead and simply scroll down the report, you can see that it pulls the entire chart for me and all the states I selected. We'll go ahead now. We'll jump over to DOI directive reports. You have two options, either COVID-19 or other DOI directives. We'll choose other. Again, we'll choose state. We'll go ahead and hit all states. I'll hit search. I'm gonna give this a second because we pulled quite a few states this time. All right, and essentially we have the same exact formatting as the compliance chart reports. If I just scroll down here, we can see one, that that the DOI pages have a lot of information, but two, you see that it lists out for you each state selected and the specific event involved with the DOI directive. So we'll go ahead now, we'll exit out of there. We'll jump back to our state homepage, and now we're going to jump into what's new. We have two options, either what's new in the specific state we're currently viewing, or what's new in all states. We'll pop into what's new in California. At the top, we have our What's New in Claim Toolkit, and this is where we keep you apprised of ongoing research projects. If I scroll down below, it's going to list for me specifically what's new in the state I'm viewing. We break it up by the effective date, the line of business impacted, and details on the what's new. We'll go ahead and jump back to the California homepage. We will jump into what's new in all states. This is a little bit different. We have a navigational toolbar at the top to jump into any portion of the alphabet. Again, we keep you apprised of what's new in Claim Toolkit. And then down below, it's a listing of all states plus DC. So we break it up for you by state, the effective date, line of business impacted, and details on the what's new. Now they're going to scroll down now. I can see I have a nice little summary here in the bolded title. I have the bill and the regulation it's amending and a summary on the what's new. For more information, I can simply click the hyperlink here. It will take me right to that chart within that specific state. Now, what's new is the first way we keep you apprised of new information and new changes in the application. The second way we do this is providing the new information in the amended new legislation category at the top of the chart. So if you come to this chart by any other means than what's new, you're going to have this first and foremost available to you when you first land on this chart. The third way we keep you apprised of new information is this great looking orangey red text. We basically are trying to make it as hard to miss as possible, okay? This text tells you a change is very soon to occur or a change has very recently taken place. This text will remain orange until at least 8 days past the effective date or until the state updates their admin or statute online. And you know, some states update in real time, whereas others may take months to go ahead and update that statute or admin. So we don't want you navigating there and seeing an outdated regulation. So we want to make sure it's upfront and still in your mind when you are viewing the information. We will go ahead now and we will go back. Actually, we're going to jump on back to California. Okay. Next up are our DOI emergency order directives. So now when I ran those DOI directive reports, these are the pages and charts that you are pulling from. Okay. For DOI directives, each individual event is going to have its own chart. So say, for example, we want to jump into California wildfires. This consists of DOI directives issued by the DOI when there is a state of emergency or very recently has been a state of emergency. We break it up for you by the effective date, the events, counties affected, CAT adjuster requirements, claim handling guidelines, company reporting requirements, and company underwriting guidelines. You have a navigational bar at the top of your chart to jump you to any portion of the page, which, as you can see, these charts have a lot of information. So this navigational bar comes in very, very handy. I can tell you that. We'll go ahead and hit that California breadcrumb, jump on back. And now we will jump into the all states active emergency orders. We'll click here in the center for emergency orders. At the top, we have our navigational toolbar to jump into any portion of the alphabet. And then below, we break it up for you by state, details on the event, description of the event, the effective date, expiration date, and company guidelines. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to a state that has some active states of emergency. And we'll land on California. So currently at the top of every state, we link you to the all state COVID-19 information page so you can pick a specific state. When there is a DOI directive in play, we will link you directly to that DOI directive. When there is no DOI directive in play, we will tell you no directives issued by the DOI, but we will link you directly to those proclamations, emergency orders, etc. We'll go ahead now. Oh, and one last thing to note, these are governor issued emergency orders only, so you will not see local. You won't see judge issued, mayor issued, etc. We'll jump back to the California homepage, move on down. Next up is our state compliance overview. I can go and hit view in the center. And essentially what this does, it takes me to a report style chart where we pull all the need to know compliance information for the state. So, for example, we have negligence. We pull the column 1 to tell you specifically what you need to know in as few words as possible. Minimum limits, med pay, UIM, no pay, no play, communication time limits, and so forth. This is the perfect place to go if you are expanding into new territory or you're unfamiliar with the laws and regulations of a state. We'll go ahead now, scroll on back up. In the top right hand corner, I have my print as PDF option if I'd like to go ahead and print that. But we'll go ahead and we'll hit that state breadcrumb, jump on back. And now down below, we have our third method of accessing information within each individual state. Essentially what these are, general duty all the way down to the bottom of the screen. These are essentially a shortcut. All the charts you see listed here are also available within the subject matter based drop-down menu at the top of your application. You can also locate them by running a search. But simply what we wanted to do, we wanted to provide a shortcut for all of our top hit charts or our most popular charts to give you another way of accessing them quickly when you need that information. So I can simply click on any one of these, let's say TNC, and it jumps me right to that chart. Again, we have our 3-column format. Now I can go ahead and scroll up. I can click on California to jump back to my California homepage. Or if I want to jump all the way back to auto, I can do so as well through the breadcrumb. And if I need to choose a different state, I can always jump into a different state from anywhere in the application. And again, lastly, I can just use that Claim Toolkit logo to take me right back to my auto homepage. So that concludes our overview training of the application. We actually finished 2 minutes early, so I'm going to go and let you guys go. I want to thank you again for joining us. We are very excited to be working with Sedgwick. And if you have any questions, please again, just go ahead and drop that into the Q&A forum and we will address them as quickly as possible. But thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.